up for a sec. Move this one down. Okay, we got 3-bet. That's good. We only have 100 big blinds, so we can get a third of our stack in here. This guy's a pretty loose 3-better. And so we get a third of our stack in here by 4-betting, over a third. So that's what you want to do when you can do that with aces. And then you're shoving pretty much every flop if he flats, which most of the time when he 3-bets here, he's going to flat like that. And not the best flop. Some 7/8s are in his range, but also a bunch of just 9s. So we have to shove here. It's pretty gross if he has 7/8, and he doesn't because he didn't snap call us. And then here we flop the nuts on this table. Okay, and he folded. So we're gonna just go bet, bet, bet here and hope we get 3 streets of value. It kind of sucks having the king in this case because the hand you want someone to have is the king high flush. It's hard to get a lot of value. Queen high or 10 high flush is not folding the flop, but they'll often fold like say, and they're usually not folding in turn either, but they'll often end up folding the river, or the board might end up pairing, killing the action, and stuff like that. So in that situation, having the king is not so great. You prefer not to have the king actually. Alright, so we'll go back to the tables I had, so we keep it consistent. Okay. Okay, so you can see I don't have any stats up. I think I kind of want to switch to Hold'em Manager just because my poker tracker is like it won't work on 50 big blind tables for Omaha. I don't know why. I've tried resolving it, and there's probably a way to resolve it, but it's such a pain in the butt. I'm not worrying about it. And also, I have pretty solid reads on a lot of these players, so that I don't necessarily need them here. Though, I mean, I would much rather have them than not all the time. Alright, let's see. Okay, this is a decently connected hand. This is a good structure. We don't like being out of position. This is garbage folded. But we'll still at least call. It's not really the kind of hand you want to 3-bet, just because when you do get 4-bet, you're kind of wasting a hand that can often flop really good, and especially being out of position. But if you have enough of a dynamic, and there's a guy who's loose enough of an open raiser, you can definitely 3-bet it. And against a fish open limper, you can try to ISO them. Especially, I think Winter Mag, he's tight enough, he's going to be folding a lot of his big blinds here, even in position. So that'll get you heads up with this guy. Definitely see that here. It's a pretty good card for us. Probably still have the best hand. It's possible he flopped 2 pair and is just trying to call down or induce bluffs, but as you can see, that's probably not the case. More likely he had like a bare 7/8 or something like that. 7/8 or 3/4 or something. And he'll be putting us on aces full a decent amount of the time, which we will have a decent amount of the time there. So he's just going to fold on that card a ton. So you don't have to have the nuts to keep betting, guys. That's a lot of people when they first start with Omaha, they play it pretty loose passive or weak tight, just because it seems like you make so many more hands, and there's something psychological about it, the difference between it and Hold'em, that it just makes them seem like this is not really as good of a hand as some people think it is. When you flop a set, bottom set, straights are often dominated. It's a pretty weak hand. Okay, if it does that, then we can bomb this maybe. Our aces aren't that good, but we have 1 suit and we have 2 straight possibilities. I'm gonna bomb it. Donkey Lovin' is obviously, some people, they'll just flat all of their ace XX hands out of position, but since I 3-bet enough hands, like I 3-bet enough of my rundowns and stuff, that this is deceptive enough that I don't always have aces in this spot. So and obviously a board like this, you definitely want to 3-bet because you can easily have the nut flush. He most of the time doesn't. If he has the flush, he's going to flat you, even if he somehow has a set. But this is not really 6-6 6-6, 5-5, 3-3. Those are not the type of cards usually that people call 3-bets with, or that they raise and then call 3-bet with. So set's pretty unlikely. Straight, I don't know what he would do if he had a straight. And flush, sometimes he has it, but not that often. And it's easy for you to represent a big hand on that board, because you can easily have the nut flush or king high flush or something, because a lot of your hands are either aces with at least one suit, or like rundowns like ace, queen, jack, 10 with double suited or something. So that's a pretty good flop for your 3-betting range out of position. So yeah, that kind of goes along with what I was just saying. You don't want to play too nitty in these games. There's a lot of bluffing, or semi-bluffing, I guess, pre-flop and on the flop. And it's not really even bluffing. We're obviously we had aces, so we bet our hand for value pre-flop. But then post-flop, you're doing a lot of semi-bluffing. It's semi-bluffing because aces could be the best hand, but say he just had a hand like that had a 6 in it, like king, queen, jack, 6, double suited, but not diamond. He has a lot. He doesn't know it, but he has a lot of outs against us on that board. So when you bet, you're semi-bluffing because you're betting him off of his equity, basically. He has against our hand like what is it? 9, like 11 outs or something if he has a hand like that. But he's never going to call a flop like that against our c-bet for the most part, on a monotone flop like that, because he's not going to know if any of his outs are good. He could be drawing dead a good portion of the time, and so you're just not going to get called by those types of hands on that type of board, even though those types of hands are pretty much getting the right price to continue to at least see a turn card if they knew exactly what your hand was. So the tendency is when you have the lead in the hand, you're just betting a lot more flops than you are in hold'em, it seems like. There are, of course, textures, and it depends on your hand and the texture and the range of hands that you think your opponent has in the particular spot. All of that comes into play, but especially in like 3-bet pots or whatever, there's just lots of. Okay, so here we flopped pretty much the world. We got second set here, plus an open end, and plus a backdoor flush draw. That's just beautiful. If he has the top set, that's just a brutal cooler. And he doesn't have top set because he just check called. So we have the nuts, and we're gonna just hope he has something. We also have the backdoor hearts, so we're gonna bet a little lower just because maybe induce something from him that like a check raise bluff or something, semi bluff, because we have pretty much everything covered. This under the gun. This is, I'm tempted to fold this. It's a double paired hand. If you get 3-bet, well, we'll see what happens. If we get past these 3 guys, that'll be really good. We're trying to have position with this type of hand. Of course, we can flop a set a decent amount of the time, and instead we flop a straight and a flush draw. Unlike in hold'em, a straight and a flush draw is not the nuts, especially when it's a low flush draw like this and a low straight draw like that. So I'm actually just going to check here. I think he has. I don't think he's not flatting the flop with a huge handed ton, but I think he'll have 2 pairs a lot of the time, and especially when he's bombing this full pot on this turn. Or a hand like like king, queen, jack 10, or like king, jack 10, 9 or something. But and too often he has something that has a pair plus spades that dominate ours, so it's a pretty easy check fold. Once you do check, you could barrel in that spot if you wanted. But if you did barrel and he raised you, you'd have to fold. So yeah, like I'm saying, a straight and a flush draw in this game are not like they are in hold'em, where anytime you get a straight and a flush draw or a pair and a flush draw, you're just like, oh sweet, the nuts. But so you want to keep that in mind. This is a really